We go live.
We're live. Good morning.
Good morning, all. What a beautiful day. Kiltz is back.
Yay!
Hey, Alia and Dr. Nelson kind of help.
No, it's just Dr. Nelson. I was sick all week.
Oh, Dr. Nelson helped support the week. Thank you, Dr. Nelson. Awesome. We're on Kiltz Money Tribe. We're on Instagram, Dr. Kiltz. We got my good friend Ivy Sardi here sharing his down under strength. And Dr. Nelson again is here. Thank you for being here all. And your comments, your likes, love, subscribes, really important. So I'm hoping everyone from Instagram and Kiltz Money Tribe can hear. Dr. Nelson, how are you today?
Doing great. A little bit under the weather.
All right.
Oh, no.
All right. My good friend Ivy Sardi. Where are you from, Ivy?
From Sydney, Australia.
Sydney. Nice. I'm actually flying into Sydney on, I don't know what date, sometime in April to get down there for the Carnivore Collective Live in Melbourne. So excited about that. And why don't you just sort of tell our listeners a little bit about yourself, and then we'll go through some questions. And QQQ, and what's our giveaway today, Alia?
We're going to do a Kiltz Cup, and the hashtag is Ivy. Put
Beautiful.
hashtag Ivy into the chat.
I love that. That's so good. I actually love Kiltz's cups. Like they're so good. They're creative. I love what he does. It's so
awesome.
good. Look at him.
I got to bring some cups down to Australia, don't I?
You
Yes.
do.
Yes.
We lost Dr. Nelson. You do.
I'm here.
Oh, he says he's here. He's here. In spirit.
All right.
Here we go.
Go ahead, Ivy, my brother.
Well, a bit of a background. So obviously I struggled with a bit of a drug addiction in my mid-20s. And it sort of led me down a bad path, obviously prior to that. I was sort of on the fence with that sort of lifestyle. And I guess, during COVID and all those sort of things, and it really enhanced my use of drugs and alcohol. And it really, really put me in a bad place mentally, physically, spiritually, around the wrong people, surroundings and environments. And, before I knew it, I was addicted to drugs. I was taking drugs every day of my life. It was just so normal for me to consume them, and I didn't even realize, time flew by for me when I was consuming these substances. And I ended up in prison due to my behavior and things I was doing. I ended up selling drugs for the debts and things that I was consuming and doing. And it was an eye opener, but it was the best thing that ever happened to me was for me to go to prison. It was something that needed to happen. And it was the second chance that I got to really change my life and then change other people's lives as well. So since then, the journey really began, my self-journey, my self-healing journey, my new awakening, and that second chance to life started in prison for me, looking after myself, being healthy again, starting to really understand, nutrition. Prior to that, in my early teens, I was always into sport and nutrition and health. So it was always a part of me, but I lost my way, So when I come out of prison, I was in I was unbreakable. My mindset, I was just so determined to fix myself, heal myself, help others. And I just wanted to continue on how I was living in jail. I was living super healthy diet in there with what I could do. I was training again, just basic movement, body weight stuff. And that just put me in such a great it propelled me in a great way. Just doing the basic necessity of movement and nutrition, it really helped me mentally and to keep going as well. Then I continued on with my studying prior to doing all these bad things. I continued on studying with my nutrition course and my personal training courses and things like that. So I ended up finishing that. But in saying that, I've always been very interested in parasites. It was just something that I was very intrigued about, the way the human body got parasites, the way we got sick, why people are getting diseases at such a young age. So I dived really deep into that side and started really looking at ancestral living, tribal living, Aboriginals, Native Americans. I started really looking into the tribal aspect, and it led me down a really, really deep path of parasites, cleansing, eating only organs and meats. And that's where this journey really flourished without me really consciously saying, hey, I'm going to be a carnivore. It just, everything started making sense. It started joining the dots. And I was like, this is the way we should be living and thriving. So I just unconsciously just started to eat meat. And without knowing this carnivore, lifestyle, I just kept doing it because I was like, this makes sense. This is how it should be, and this is making me feel good already. And I just continued on, and that's the long short story.
And what got you inspired to share this on social media and tell your story? Because it can't be easy to tell that story.
The biggest thing I learned was my story can help so many people, but it only takes you to make one video, and only one person needs to see that, and that can help them, whether it's their mindset, drug addiction, nutrition, a little bit of motivation, something that they're dealing with. It only takes that video, one person to see that, and that can change someone's life. And I've seen it multiple times. And that really dug deep with me, because it's, when people post videos, they want to make sure it's perfect. They want to make sure it all looks aesthetic and it's well presented. I got past that and I said, it doesn't matter what the video or anything. It's not about me anymore. It's about the people out there, the listeners, the followers. This story, this content could be that pivotal moment for someone. All I got to do is make it and post it. It's not about me anymore.
Love it.
Drug addiction. Why are we there? I mean, between alcohol and marijuana, tobacco, and then other illegal, illicit drugs, are there other addictions, do you think, that are leading to so much sickness that maybe we're not talking about?
Yes, it would be sugar. I have seen sugar have similar or identical effects like someone from cocaine or MDMA or an illicit drug like that. The behavior, the withdrawals, the thinking, the things that it can do, is very identical to behaviors and mind process and thoughts and their mindset. They're very similar. From someone who's been addicted to cocaine and MDMA, that has also come from eating in our typical food pyramid and consuming sugars and eliminating sugars as well. That withdrawal process, and I have seen in my clients as well, can be the exact same effects of someone coming off cocaine.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And how do you think carnivore lifestyle, animal-based, to sort of kind of help chisel and strengthen us away from a lot of those addictive substances?
Because like those sugars, those carbs, those processed foods, we all know those nasty additives is just like a drug. It affects your nervous system. It affects the way you're thinking. It almost takes control of you and blinds you from really, what's true or not. Just like drugs will take over, give you tunnel vision. That's why we emotional eat. There's the dopamine that comes with it. Same with drugs, the sugar. It is all connected. It is all very intertwined and connected with how we feel, our thoughts, our feelings, with what we eat, whatever we put in our mouths. It is all very connected, and it's crazy that when you go to a very ancestral way of eating and you eliminate those things, it's almost spiritual for a time period. Once you adapt to it, all those negative things away, you have a clear conscience, clear thinking, all the nasty chemicals and toxins are out of your body. It's almost you are, and now become another level, spiritually, and more connected to you, your food, the earth. It's almost, this primal feeling we get, this ancestral lifestyle feeling that we get when we stay on a carnivore animal-based diet. It really helps overall, mentally, spiritually, just being connected with our food.
You mentioned parasites,
Mm-hmm.
jail, and maybe tell us a little what your thoughts are on parasites. And I've got my thinking, some thoughts and ideas that I mean, when we think about, a parasite is an organism that takes advantage of us, which we may not know it and may hurt us,
Yes.
but unknowingly. And maybe Dr. Nelson can chime in. I don't know that I've really ever taken care of anyone with a parasite in my lifetime.
With the parasites, I always looked at it because I'm like, well, like people are getting very sick, and they can't figure it out, and I feel like also, as we know, we live in a world and a society where things are very processed, very toxic, a lot of chemicals, a lot of things are changing in our environment that are no good for us. Food quality, the process of food, where it's coming from, how it's grown, all these things, and especially the transportation of where the food is coming from. Most of these parasites, these organisms, they've been around for millions of years. That's why they're a parasite. They're adapting to the environment. They're adapting to living in our body. They're becoming very resilient to us and what we use to normally eliminate and kill them. They're becoming like seeds and plants, the defense chemicals. They are slowly getting stronger and adapting to what's happening in the soil. And they're becoming very hard to get rid of. And I've seen in myself, I've seen in other people too, these parasites, they're coming from like our food majority of the time. And what feeds them is the sugar, the carbs, the additives, those nasty things is what they thrive off.
Do you think plants are parasites?
Yes, in a way, yes. Yes.
I mean, when in essence, when we die, even before that, are they growing out of us? And do those roots seek the our fertilizer nature, right? We become their food. So I don't know. I'm wondering, Dr. Nelson, what are your thoughts on plants as parasites?
I think all I think all gut flora basically qualifies as parasites, right? They grow in us, they live in us, they feed from our food. Now, some people will have symptoms more severe than others, but they are living in our intestinal flora. And
Mm,
sometimes we identify some of them more as a pathogen than
mm.
others. So pretty much anything that is living within our flora is a parasite, even if we think of it
It's
as a
good.
benign
Yeah.
organism.
And a seed in our gut may pass out, and our poop becomes its fertilizer to help it grow. But if it's within us, and we know that we have reactions to plants, and let's see, heroin, cocaine, marijuana, nicotine, caffeine are highly addictive plant products.
Yes.
And I'm just wondering if, in fact, our consumption of plants sets us up for an addictive lifestyle
Mm.
that we've sort of defined. Some are illegal and you got to go to jail, and some are okay, right? Like tobacco, you're not likely going to go to jail over it, but you may end up in the coffin
Yeah.
over it anyway, right?
Mm.
And in essence, are we propagating in our communities use of these drugs that some of us and many of us end up incarcerated over them, which and the incarceration, obviously 40 days and 40 nights in the desert, I'm imagining you either thrive and survive or you die.
Mm.
Maybe you could tell us a little bit about your experience and how being in jail and having a focus on your health and wellness, and then wanting to share with others how that changed your life.
Being in there, I think, so for me, I think everyone's experience is obviously very different and very unique. I feel like mine is a little bit more special, unique in a way. I had a accident on the day of getting arrested. I got very badly beaten and hit, and had a concussion,
Mm-hmm.
and I was unconscious for 4 days in the hospital.
Wow.
During that period for the 4 days, and then that would have been technically my first 4 days in over 5 years of no drugs, in being in hospital. Okay. So then I stayed in hospital for another 3 days. I was bedridden, tied to the bed, couldn't move, didn't eat at all for that week being in there. But for me, that was my first 7 days in 5 years of not consuming any substances. Then getting taken to prison, and during that time with COVID, they had very strict rules. So, you guys would have had it as well, where we had to be isolated and things like that. So they had very strict rules in jail with the same thing. So when we had to go in with COVID, we had to go in isolation, stay in your cell for 2 weeks, and did not come out of your cell. So, a 2 meter by 4 meter room, you're not coming out for 2 weeks because of COVID. Then during that period, I had to go to a hospital unit as well, because they obviously seen the damage on my face and things like that, and they knew that my hospital reports and my blood tests was high on drugs, so they knew I needed to detox as well. So by the time those few things happened, I already spent a month in jail, basically in isolation, and also detoxing from drugs. So that, for me, my detoxing period was very different than someone normal. And I think because of that situation, I think it made me realize things a little bit quicker, a little bit more. I was a little bit more alert and aware, because I knew that I was in prison now. You had to really get your things together. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what it's like. You got to really switch on now. And I think by the end of that first month in isolation, I got moved to another little cell, and I had a little glass mirror on my wall about that big, and that was the first time I got to see myself sober in 5 or 6 years. A long time, a really long time, where you could 100% look at yourself and be sober. And I just took it in, and it just really, really hit me. Really, things started to really sink in, and realize what was happening, where you are, what you've done, the things you've happened, what has happened these last 5 years. Everything started coming to me just looking in that mirror. And I said to myself, what are you going to do in this situation in here? You don't know how long you're here for. You don't know what's going to happen. What are you going to do that's going to make a difference in here to make a change and make a difference for when you do get out? What are you going to do in here to start? I said, I'm going to start training. I'm going to start looking after myself. I'm going to start being healthy. And that's exactly what I did. I started training, I started being healthy, to the best of my ability with the food that I had in there. And I just made that commitment of getting up early, getting in routine, eating clean food, training every day, getting your movement in. That was it. That was my thing I had to do no matter what. And yep.
Sorry. When did you find carnivore?
I found it when I came out, and I didn't find it because it came to me. I found it because when I come out, I wanted to obviously continue eating super healthy again, but I went back to my roots of looking at tribes and the way they hunted and lived, and they were just eating organs. The first thing they did when they, cut open an animal, the first thing they did was cut open and had their heart, liver, and spleen, basically. And it started to make sense. They gave the muscle meat to their dogs. It was the scraps. And I said, that makes sense. And they're never sick. These guys aren't sick. They're not dying from diabetes or cancers or anything like that. They might die from hunting or injuries like that, or unhygienic wounds or something, but they're not dying from a chronic illness. So I said, I'm going to eat like that. Without knowing a carnivore was a thing, I just said, I'm going to eat like that. I'm going to eat meat every day. So I just started eating kangaroo because, I'm in Australia. Wow. I just started eating kangaroo, breakfast, lunch, and dinner without thinking of anything. And I just stuck to that. And without knowingly doing it, I didn't go through, any withdrawals from sugars or carbs. I think because at the time my mindset was just, it was unbreakable. Like I said, I was just 100% determined at that time. And I just said, I'm just eating meat. And before you know it, a year went by, a year and a half went by. And it's just like nothing now.
Awesome. Can I ask this question?
Yep.
It's from Jonathan, Carnivore Muscle. What key advice would you give to someone dealing with addictive behaviors?
The biggest thing I would look at would be your environment. So obviously people you surround yourself with, finding out when you're getting those cravings in whatever shape or form it is, trying to break down what is happening prior. So I call it mind mapping. So find out, is it because you're at a certain place, something's triggered you, your emotions during that day. It's making a journal of how you've been feeling that day. Where did you go? Did something happen to trigger that? And you can break down patterns. Obviously, your friends, your environment is a huge factor. Not only that, now because most of us are on social media, what we visually see is the same thing as environment. Your friends, what you see on your phone, what you keep hearing and seeing, you absorb it. Mm-hmm. Okay, so if you're absorbing a lot of negative energy or a lot of these things on your socials, you become a byproduct of it. So definitely what you consume and changing your routine, your daily routine, that will give you instant change. Okay, so waking up early, getting in a good routine, a night routine, a bed routine, morning routine, structure in your life. These very basic things that we get taught at a young age, it is very useful in this sort of environment that I've noticed. The biggest thing is obviously having another support network system as well. So for me, I was going to NA meetings and things like that. those help you a lot, because now you're going to surround yourself with people that are in the same situation, and you're going to hear and share your story, their story, and you will connect because you're going to hear someone else struggling and you're like, I feel like that. And it's going to reassure you that it's okay to feel like that with your journey as well. It's a huge part.
Community is
Yes.
critical.
Yep.
Yes.
And we're all here to sort of share a community that is so important. And I grew up in LA, kicked out of school in a gang, and my father was in jail. And I can tell you the experiences that we live in our past drive our future. And it was through the people I began to hang out with, which was different, which changed my life way back when. And I think this community online, whether you're keto, carnivore, and where does faith in a higher power come in your drive?
Me personally, I don't believe in anything or faith, but I have seen being in jail. I have seen the multiple cultures. I've experienced it. Being in prison, I had cellmates. I've had people that were Christian. I had people that were Muslim, you know, the people praying and all that. And it was an amazing experience, an eye-opener as well. Just in general about the culture of people and different beliefs and meanings. And I can't explain it. It was a really, really great thing that I got to witness doing that, because I learned a lot about, from being in an addiction personality, you're always taking, always take, and you're greedy, unfortunately. And when I got to experience these different cultures, I got to see a lot of giving. And it was the biggest thing that I've seen, and I visually got to see that. And for me, I being that negative way, now all I want to do is give, because now I've seen how important it is and how much you can really help people, and the feeling you get of just helping someone and just making their day better, life-changing things. It's amazing. I can't put a price on that. It's the best feeling. So being of service to someone and the people and community is the best thing I've ever done.
So maybe I'm a little having a connection, but faith in others,
Yes.
in our community. That's I think the power, because you did it alone, but you didn't do it alone, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Right. You know, it's sort of, that's maybe our strength together in community, and ultimately wanting to help ourselves, help each other together. What are your thoughts on the healthcare systems that we're all sort of living in?
Where do I start with the healthcare system? I think it's so backwards. I think it is honestly so far backwards that it's crazy not to see it. It's in front of us. It's in black and white writing. It says it that it's backwards, basically. I've read enough literature, not in just nutrition, but just general life things in the system, and it is backwards, and it says it there in backwards. We just haven't read the fine print, unfortunately, because we've just taken it for granted and gone, yeah, okay, we got to do it. They said it, no worries. But when you go read those literatures and things that are there, it says it in black and white that it's not what it is, unfortunately.
Have you found that there's more of sort of a, you got a problem, we got a drug?
Yes, that is all I've ever seen. And knowingly talking to other doctors, and even asking them personally, you know, what did you study at medical school? Did you study nutrition? Did you ever get taught? If, you know, if someone comes in, are you going to be asking about their lifestyle habits and factors, and, you know, what are their diets, you know, going deeper into those sort of things? And they all say, no, we're not taught this stuff. We're not taught food. We're taught, if someone comes in with this symptom, we give them this. If they've got this, we're going to give them this. That's all we've ever been taught.
Maybe Dr. Nelson could comment on our education, right? I mean, we went into medical health care because we wanted to help people.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts, Dr. Nelson?
No, he's absolutely correct. From the moment a patient walks in and says, I have this, you know, we call that the chief complaint. We start thinking, oh, is it this, or that? We start going through our differential diagnosis in our mind, and we've been trained to, okay, so I think he has this. I have a medication for this. I got an app for this, right? And we have 10, 15 minutes to decide what the patient has, what we're going to order, discuss with the patient if a physician discusses with the patient anymore, you know, the alternatives, and then what drug can I give? That's the training we have, unfortunately. Yeah. And then, so I have a medication for that. And when there is things that you have and we think about, but we don't have good medications for that, unfortunately, many providers ignore that because they don't have a medicine to treat that. Okay, I'm being very general, of course, because it doesn't matter what it is, the diagnosis.
Yeah.
If I don't have a medicine for that, then it's not as important in some people's mind.
Yeah. I agree, because I've seen it, and I've asked other doctors. You've just confirmed it yourself. And, you know, if we go even further back, you know, when the system was overwritten by the Rothschilds, you know, back in, or would have been, I think, in the 80s, somewhere late 80s, where they changed all that. They changed it to their system, unfortunately. And then again, if we look at ancestral tribes, African, Indigenous, Native Americans, some of these tribes to this day, especially, you know, uncontactable tribes, you know, they don't speak any English, you know, the cannibals and things like that, they know things that we don't know and will never know about medicines and things that they're using, because they are doing things that we could not do or survive the way they survive using what they have, and they don't have, you know, those diseases and illnesses and things like that. It's crazy.
Is there any other benefit that you have found from carnivore besides, you've talked about the addictive behavior, but what other benefits have you had from carnivore?
The biggest things I would notice would be inflammation in pain in my knees. I played sports when I was younger. I played basketball. I actually come over in the States and played when I was younger. I've had a knee replacement when I was about 18 or 19. I'm 32 now. So in my early 20s, I struggled a lot after having it. I stopped playing basketball because it was painful. We also did a hamstring graft as well. And then later down the track, I snapped the hamstring again. So I was very scared, just that frightening feeling. And then I basically never really trained much because I was just so scared. Then now, once I've had this sort of, you know, new chapter of life, I've done the basics of training, changed the nutrition, the pain went. So I couldn't kneel. I couldn't brush my kneecap on the floor, couldn't cross my legs. There was too much pain. There was a lot of fluid and crunching noise of cartilage and things like that, of what's left. And now I got no pain. I can sit, kneel, squat, jump, run,
When
do
when
everything.
did, when did you notice that the pain went away?
I'm going to say within a few months. And then I started really stepping up the training. And then I noticed the training. I was like, I'm weak, but there's no pain. So now I've got no pain. Now it's just about being consistent with the training, and then the strength will come through. And then since now, I don't have pain, and it's just building very, very good. Like, I'm very happy. I basically have forgotten that I've ever had that surgery. So that's a huge win for me.
Wow.
Well,
And
go ahead.
and then the other thing I was going to say would be I had a lot of internal issues. So from obviously consuming a lot of alcohol and drugs, a lot of that time you are not eating at all. And I'm talking days, weeks, months. You know, you might have had one little bite of KFC, McDonald's, a burger, and then you've continue on with drugs for another couple of weeks. Okay. I've absolutely, destroyed my organs, my stomach lining. I had ulcers and cysts all inside and on some of my organs. Because the hospital report when I was unconscious, they did all their checks, and I read that report saying there was a lot of damage and cysts inside. And since then, that really freaks me out. I'm thinking, they're going to rupture, they're going to cause a lot of problems, they're going to cause bleeding. I was really panicking. So that was another thing to really make me stick to eating this and look into fasting as well. I'm a really big believer in fasting, as Kiltz knows. That 10-day water fast. I think that's like my 7th or 8th one. So
Wow.
I really wanted to just heal from the inside out. That's the goal. Is heal the body from the inside out. And
It's carnivore for all.
yes. Carnivore and fasting combined, and we've got something magical.
And when we were in training and practice early on, Dr. Nelson, we were trained to give out opiates and pain medications like candy, because we were written up if we allowed someone to be in pain. And so in some way, I imagine through your injuries and the use of these drugs, we contribute to the drug dependency.
Yeah, absolutely. I even did I did a lot of treatment. I did a lot of PRP. I did a lot of cortisone injections, at the start and prior to the injury, because obviously that was leading up. So all those things, it contribute. They always look at taking medications, endones for the surgeries and the pains and things like that. I personally, on endones and pain medication, get very, very sick, and nauseous and things like that. But yeah, you're right, Doc. And I've seen a lot of elderly ladies from doctors, unfortunately, have gotten opiates for pain medication for something very, very minor that they should not have got it for, and now they're hooked on it. They've been on it for years and they can't get off, when it was just, maybe a bit of a sciatica pinch in the nerve, and they've given them that, and now they're stuck on these medications, unfortunately. It's really sad. I've seen a few cases like that, unfortunately.
So is fasting, now I typically do 1 meal a day, 2 to 3 days of no food once a month, 5 to 7 days quarterly. Is fasting for all of us or only certain people?
I believe it's for everyone. I absolutely believe it's for everyone. Same thing. You refer it back to our tribes and ancestral eating. Us humans are the ones that developed and created, saving food and having almost this abundance of food. It wasn't like it. It was not like that and wasn't designed like that. So if we go back to their time, if we're going to hunt food, they go out with their tribe, they go hunt, they get what they could if they got something. If they didn't get anything, they don't eat. They come back to the tribe, you know, they do their ceremonies, they help the women out, they do their thing, look after the kids, they celebrate either way. Then the next day they go out and hunt. If they didn't get anything, they didn't get anything. They didn't always get food. Sometimes it was a little bit, sometimes it was a lot. So they did what you're doing, Kiltz. They might do a 1 meal a day, or they might do a 2-3 day fast, then feast, 2-3 day fast, then feast. That was a very common practice of how they had to survive because there was no food all the time.
Yeah, Brooke J. Sands Instagram asked about optimization to prep for egg freezing. Is OMAD still good to do? Should we avoid fasting during certain times of the cycle? I don't know that we had any luxury to say, oh, it's this time of the cycle, I must have food. And it just doesn't make any sense in our ancient evolution.
Yeah. It's spot on. If we just take it, we've made things, I feel like we have made things very, too complicated, backed on the science and the tracking and all these sort of things. If we just strip it back to the basics and you look at that way of lifestyle and eating and living, these guys didn't just sit there and go, oh, I'm on my cycle, I better eat. They didn't have the choice of that.
Right. I'm curious if as women we would feel better if we actually did fast. I'm going to try it. I'll test it out. I usually can't, but in my mind I say I can't, but I'm going to try it now.
Okay, let's say we can't. It's true.
It is. It's very true. So, but let's do it. Let's do a fast together. When you want to do a fast, let's do a fast.
Okay, I'll text you or email you. Let me see. I'll tell you right now. I got my app on my phone.
Every other day. Well, but again, so we're tracking everything, right? Maybe that's the parasite. The real parasite.
I track so I don't get pregnant. This is why I track this.
But I mean, our tracking was hunting with Dr. Vasquez and Kiltz.
That's right. Kiltz leading the tribe. That's right.
We're doing it together. Alternate day fasting.
Yes.
Which I think, I mean, again, you want to lose weight, and we got all these complicated diets.
Yeah.
But when you eat a plant-based diet, it's your brain saying, wait a minute, if these foods are available, it must be the late summer, fall. And so you better eat up so you get fat, so you survive the winter hibernation, migration, all those things.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I always tell you, Dr. Kiltz, I lost 40 pounds in my last pregnancy. I couldn't eat. It was very hard to eat. And my baby came out beautiful.
Well, nausea and vomiting in early pregnancy is actually critical to survival. Okay. You get fat to fuel your baby, and the fat of our body is the only fuel for your body. It is not. It's not what's in your stomach. That must be converted to fat in the liver, and then VLDLs and all the chylomicrons and things, or otherwise you die.
You die. There you go.
All
right, 13 days. Ivy, 13 days is when we're doing the fast.
Okay, done. We're doing a fast. Kiltz, we're doing a fast.
Yeah, 13 days. Ivy Sardi is from Australia. He's with us on YouTube, Facebook, just for the Instagram and the Mighty Tribe group. We're going to also have you on, I think, on our KMT.
We should.
What's 5:30 in the evening, USA?
Eastern, a Zoom call with Dr. Kiltz, Dr. Nelson, the Kiltz Mighty Tribe. And tonight we have special guest, Dr. Sean Baker.
Awesome. Tonight, Sean Baker's on with us. Awesome. Yeah. Awesome.
Nice.
It's real important. And let's see, we're going to be in Austin, Texas this Saturday. Where do we get tickets?
We get tickets, and I pinned where we get tickets. So if you're watching on YouTube, it's at the top. At the top, you just click on that link. I'll put it back in there right now.
Can you say where we get tickets so people can hear on Instagram and Kiltz?
Oh, Healing Humanity. You have to get your tickets from Here we go. Here we go.
Can they go to
Healing
Dr.
Humanity.
Kiltz? Can they go to drkiltz.com?
They
And
can
get
go
a
to
link?
drkiltz.com.
Kiltz.com.
It pops up. They click on that. It takes them to
Yeah.
the other website. They buy their tickets. We got some cool people coming. There's some very
And
cool people coming.
the beauty is that the being there, we're all going to connect, but we're helping heal humanity together, like Ivy and Dr. Nelson and Alia and Kiltz and everyone here. We're sharing the story.
Yes.
And without these stories, okay, let's see. I just clicked on drkiltz.com and did not get a link.
It didn't pop up.
Did not.
Let's see what's going on here.
How about KiltzMeetup.com?
Yep.
There's also kiltzmeetup.com.
Okay, I just redid it and it came up this time, but for some reason, when I went to a link on so some reason, I don't know what it is, but yeah, we got amazing people going to be there, but the most amazing person to be there is you.
Yes.
And on everyone here, and we're traveling around the globe to inspire each other that carnivore frees us from the bondage of those plants, which basically want to control and kill us.
Yes.
Let's see. Where's the list here? Where's the list? Trying to see the list of all those here. Let's see. I will be there. Laura Knight Hughes, Nia Nova, Pastor Jimmy and Annette, the Texas boys, Carrie Mann and Adam Lacey. And most of all, you'll be there. The tickets are on sale. VIP $225, but standard tickets $880. $80. That's an investment to healing. And I know Ivy's going to be in Melbourne. I'm just putting it out to the universe. You got to be there, my brother.
I know. I've been talking to Mel about it as well. So it's going to be really good. Obviously, it's going to be special for us. Get to meet you. It's going to be special, isn't it?
Yeah, it's special because, as you said, community.
Yes.
And Dr. Nelson, are you going to be at the healing where we got Hack Your Health coming up in Tampa, and then we have Meat Stock. I don't know are you going to be in Meat Stock? We got to get you there.
We got to talk about that.
Come to Meat Stock.
We got to get you there. We got to get Dr. Nelson there.
I have a question. I have a question for Ivy.
Yep.
Take us through a day of training or exercise routines for you.
Okay, beautiful. So I wake up at 3:30 in the morning. I go to the gym by 4. I will do some light stretching mobility. There we go, Kiltzy. Get the movement in, mobility. Then I will do, I do a hybrid style of training. I like to do everything: running, swimming, hiking, walking, functional movements. I don't just stick to weights. I incorporate everything possible, because from being in the sports background and doing, sport specific exercises, and then just, bodybuilding weights, from the journey that I've come from now, it's all about longevity. Everything we do now is about longevity, living a better quality of life through an ancestral lifestyle, and then incorporating a functional hybrid training. I found it has worked really, really well in my performance, in my energy, in my strength. So I do a bit of everything, body weights, calisthenics, running, you name it, I do it. So it's every day is obviously going to be something different. It keeps the training fun. It keeps you, I find you push yourself harder because it's a challenge. Something's different. It's always a challenge. So it's one of the best things I've really incorporated into my training. So, do that 4 o'clock in the morning. And then every session I finish off with an infrared sauna. So I might do 20, 25 minutes, try and sweat some toxins out and things like that. And then cold shower.
Love it. Heat it up, cool it down, and inspired. And I find it very inspiring. I watch Dr. Nelson. I watch you. I watch Alia. We're watching each other in an amazing community of healing and helping each other. And the healing humanity, everyone's got to get there and just donate $1, $10, whatever you can do to get that word out there. And we got to talk about Revero Health tonight, also with Dr. Baker. And Dr. Nelson's joined us on Kiltz Mighty Tribe, helping sort of share the mission of metabolic health and wellness. So I'm really excited about that for all of us. What are the questions we have coming out from the chats?
We have, where does Ivy buy his meat?
I buy my meat I have different butchers here. So we obviously have, and the funny thing is enough, I have a lot of American ranchers messaging me saying, hey, we'll fly you over, come visit us. You can pick it. It's crazy. I'm getting a lot of love for you guys Americans. I might have to do a trip over there, I think.
Oh, you have to. You have to. Well, Syracuse, when's our Syracuse event?
September.
So we're coming up with the date this week. We'll figure it out. We got to get all of our great brothers and sisters to share the story. But even if you can't be here physically, we have a spiritual connection all together. But
absolutely,
social media is quite radically amazing.
It's powerful. It's amazing. And the biggest thing I always notice what you say, Kiltz, is the story, telling the story. Yeah. Just tell the story. And like I said, it just takes that one person to see it, and you can change some people's lives just telling your story. But with my meat, I get it from different butchers. I always mix it up because everyone has different variety. I have found some really good connections here in my hometown that I can get emu, camel, crocodile, venison. So I can get some really cool things, and I like to get those mixtures. That way I'm mixing it all up. I'm getting good variety, and I like to I incorporate a lot of organs in my diet. Some carnivores do, some carnivores don't. I incorporate a lot. I eat brains, tongue, heart, liver, and I just mix it all up. And so I like a bit of variety. So I don't have a specific place.
Brooke J. Sands on Instagram. What would you say to someone that enjoys HIIT CrossFit but says carnivore won't sustain during those kinds of workouts? He needs carbs for energy.
I would say you haven't done carnivore long enough, or you haven't done carnivore hard enough.
And ultimately the carbs are the drug, and we've just been brainwashed to believe that the drug, and I believe essentially it's like caffeine. Is caffeine an energy drink?
No.
But when you use caffeine, it increases your output. Okay. But that's a drug. That's not, it's a drug we're taking like cocaine. And so when you eat a plant and you think you need sugar for energy, it's just a drug.
Yeah.
It's not what you think it is.
Yeah. Well, it's a funny thing that you say that with the CrossFit and those endurance. There was that guy who done 5 marathons in 5 days, carnivore and fasting as well. Absolutely killed it. I fast a lot, and I do a lot of endurance, CrossFit, and I feel better fasting and carnivore. I get better performance output. I do not eat before any of my workouts. It doesn't happen. So when I wake up in the morning, completely fasted, okay? No matter what. If I end up training later in the day, which I don't like to, but when I do, there's no way I'll eat a meal within a 4-hour period of me going to the gym. I don't like it. I feel sluggish. Even if I do have carnivore, I want to be empty. I want to be fasting, getting that fat adaptation to use my energy. It is way better. It's so much better. But so I think if they're saying that, they haven't carnivored hard enough, or they haven't been doing it long enough.
All right. Amazing day. Paul Anthony, Instagram. Got so many people both on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and appreciate everyone being here tonight, 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time, USA. Sean Baker is going to be on with Kiltz, Alia, and I hope Dr. Nelson's going to be there. Got great, amazing team of people sharing the message. Would you say that your hardship actually was a gift?
Absolutely. I have said it since day one. It's the best thing that's happened to me. Even though I had to go through a traumatic experience and to deal with these things, it was the best thing to set me up for my journey now. No one, people have to go through the dark to get to the light, to show that out there. And that was my journey, unfortunately, but is the best thing that's ever happened to me. It was a blessing.
Everything happens the way it's supposed to.
Absolutely.
Always. And God is always in charge.
Absolutely.
And God is where? Everywhere within all of us, because we are the gods of the universe. And my good friend Paul Anthony always says, it's all a gift.
It definitely is. It definitely is.
Speaking of gifts, we should talk about the giveaway.
We're giving something away.
Yeah, we're giving away a Kiltz Cup. Please, last moments, put hashtag Ivy into the chat to win a Kiltz Cup today. And Dr. Nelson is back.
Yeah. And by the way, go ahead, Doctor.
No, I was just going to say, is this a good energy source?
Oh, that looks so good. I would eat it like that.
Well, raw versus cooked. You want to comment on your thoughts?
Oh, yes. I love raw. I eat raw. Everything. When I try new food, when it's new organs, brains, heart, liver, spleen, kidney, I always eat them raw first because I want to know what it's like, the taste, the texture, if I'm in that primal gathering, hunting situation. Then I'll cook it and see what it's like. But I always try everything raw. I love eating meat raw. It's when you're eating raw meat with your bare hands and you're just ripping it apart, there's something about it.
Are raw potatoes good for us?
No, they're deadly.
Super deadly. It's like a grenade. You're sort of throwing
It's like a grenade. Let's see. Ancestrally healed. What's your thoughts on blue? Now, I eat my meat either raw or black and blue. So that's my two. Raw, black, and blue.
Yeah, raw and blue is perfect. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, it's the best.
Someone wanted to point out that your name is a plant.
Listen, I understand it's poison ivy, but I'm not that, okay?
Well, if you think about it, the truth is we're all poisoned by plants and poison ivy. So every disease that we've been taught is actually just a poisoning by a plant product. That's like all it is. We want complicated and difficult, even insulin resistance. I'm like, guys, you're poisoned by plants, protein, low animal fat diet. That's all it is.
Yep.
That's it. That's it. All right, let's go for it. And Kiltz can't win.
Kiltz can't win.
Hashtag Ivy.
Woo!
Sharon! Yay! Lovely Sharon won. Please email me. I'm putting the my email into the chat. Please email me.
Alia at drkiltz.com.
That's right. There you go.
Right.
I will ship it today as soon as I get your address.
Ivy, where can people find you out in this universe?
They can find me on Instagram. I am Ivy Sardi. Facebook is Ivy Sardi. And I have TikTok as well as Ivy Sardi. So you can find me there. Shoot me a message, anything you need. I'm happy to answer your questions. And you guys, I love you all. Kiltzy, the most humblest human being I've ever met. And mate, I can't wait to see you. And I appreciate you having me on here today.
Well, we appreciate you, Dr. Nelson. Thank you for being such a good gentleman here and supporting all of us. And Alia, grateful to you.
Thank you so much.
I love all. And from Michigan, from all over the world, again, Kiltz Mighty Tribe tonight at 7:30, 5:30 Eastern time. How do people get the link?
They go to kiltzmightytribe.com, sign up. It's free forever. And
can they go to Dr. Kiltz and find that also?
No, not yet, but we could set that up.
We need to make that happen so that people could simply go there and get a link.
I have a link. I can put a link in right now. We got it.
Kiltz Mighty Tribe. I think there's a link right on drkiltz.com. Join now, but we should also have the live meetup as just a click to get there. And a part of me is even thinking, do we go Instagram live along with YouTube, Facebook at the same time? I don't know.
No, because I like the fact that people need to be in the Zoom and communicate and not just watching. We need people in the Zoom communicating with us.
Yeah.
Communication is key for the community.
But it's a way to invite people, because then they get to see, in order to I got to go in there. Here's the clip. We put the link in there.
That's true.
Listen, you got to be open to everything. All right, everyone. Love you all. We'll see you tonight. And Dr. Sean Baker with us. Thank you.
Okay, goodbye, everybody.